From KOSU, you're listening to Songwriters and Tour Writers. I'm Matthew Viriapa. On this episode is Haffway. Sam Westhoff almost quit music and started working at Lowe's. But now, under the moniker Haffway, he's starting his first headlining tour in Tulsa after releasing his album Withered last fall. The album is a roller coaster of highs and lows, reflecting Westhoff's mental health journey, one that took him from a psych ward in 2024 to the stage at the Ryman in Nashville just 6 months later. In this episode, he talks about moving from Tulsa to Nashville and releasing songs written before and after his psychiatric stay.
Well, my name is Haffway. My real name is Sam Westhoff. I started Haffway about 2 years ago. My main gig has always been producing and writing for other folks, for other artists, and decided to start writing for myself after a bit of a burnout moment. And that's where the Haffway project came out of. I call it folk alternative. It's basically for sad folks who want to keep feeling sad. And you just kind of listen, and it definitely won't make you happier, but maybe you can relate to it a little bit more. So yeah, it's a lot of acoustic, a lot of harmonies. Yeah, dude, just makes you feel sad.
Yeah, I would like to talk about why you decided to start putting music under Haffway, because you had been putting songs out under your name originally, right?
Right, that's right. Yeah, yeah. I had like a solo project, so I'm 30 now, and I started releasing music under my own name when I want to say 19 or something, and it was just bad. It never got better. And so I stopped and I started a band and then realized I'm really bad at being in a band. And so that only lasted a year, and then stopped that and decided I'm just going to produce and write for other folks, and loved it and dug in real hard. And because of that, a lot of the artists I work with, we started a shared note, on our iPhone, where we put all our bad band name ideas. And I tried to put Haffway and spelt it wrong. I was like, well, that's kind of cool. And then after, it just kind of lived there for a while. And then I ended up burning out pretty hard on writing for others. And my wife encouraged me just to give her a go. And like before I quit, I was going to go work at Lowe's. It's like, before you quit, why don't you just write for yourself, go lock yourself in the studio and see what comes out. And wrote and found this world that ended up being the first EP for the Haffway project. And so started the name because I needed to feel like it was something new, because I was rather unrelated to who I've been in the past. So it was more of a personal identity thing, and also just easier to brand than just my own damn name, you know? So that was the idea.
Is that why you kind of moved to Nashville to kind of produce and songwrite?
That's it. Yep. It was around that exact same time. So Haffway came out right when I moved to Nashville, and we moved there uh, just because I was burning out and trying to quit. And like I said, my wife being very supportive, she's like, "Well, people in Nashville seem to work out, so why don't we just go out there and let it happen?" And we didn't really know anybody except we had two buddies out there who were in the band Little Image, actually, some Tulsa core Dallas folk. Um, and yeah, dude, so we moved out there aiming to just be a producer writer, and then the Haffway thing started moving. So now we're just doing both.
Could you talk about I guess just that journey from Tulsa to Nashville? Who were the folks you were working with in Tulsa then?
When I left Tulsa, I guess still am working with a couple of them, but it was mainly this artist Keyland, who I believe in heavily. This band More and More. Those were the two guys I was mainly docked in with, and I would, do sessions for other folks. I started getting docked in with Micah Feltz right before I left, um, but it's mainly those guys, and I would do a lot of rights for like licensing and sync music and that kind of thing. But those were the three: Micah, Keyland, and More and More.
Yeah. Well, I'm curious why you found being in a band difficult when, you seem to work well with other people and collaborate a lot.
Yeah, I think it was just I've learned a lot since then. I was 24. Uh, I just had a bit of an ego, man. If I'm honest, and COVID hit, right whenever we were really getting going, and I panicked and didn't know how to make a band work in COVID, and just kind of killed it. Just one of those things. It wasn't. We never had much strife within the band until I broke it up. Obviously, strife kind of came with that, but yeah, I just didn't know how to manage people in a collective group that I was leading. Just felt confused about it and freaked out and stopped. So I think I could be in a band now. I would like to be in a band now, but that's kind of why that happened.
Yeah. Well, did you find it easy to make that transition into Nashville from like Tulsa's a great music city, but it's not like big in industry like Nashville is.
Yeah. That transition was both remarkably hard and beautiful at the same time. The the industry, I just felt lucky. Met a couple people and they really pulled me in, you know. So I felt like I got to skip the line a bit when I moved there, which is just absolute fortune happened. And life was tough, you know, moving there, no buddies and that kind of thing. We had a bunch of health stuff happen right away and whatever. I could tell you a lot of stories about that first year. But the business side, yeah, people really pulled me in, man. I just felt so fortunate. And so they call it a 10-year town. I feel like a lot of people helped me skip that line a bit.
Yeah. Yeah, was this right at the tail end of like COVID?
I moved there in summer of 23.
So people just kind of pulled you into rooms like as you got situated?
Yeah, I mean, it was just I was there as a producer writer, wasn't there as an artist. But then a couple folks, like I got my managers through the Haffway music, and then then I got a lot of my sessions as a writer through the Haffway music. So all kind of started funneling through Haffway. Um, yeah, just got into some rooms that led me to other rooms that led me to other rooms, and just got just lucky, dude. Feel very grateful and just kind of hopscotched around.
Did people discover you like as Halfway mainly online, or were you just like playing like in different rooms?
I only played in Nashville once in the first like 18 months, and so it was just streaming. People found it through streaming, and then funny thing about Nashville is that since it's so industry. Once you have somebody to vouch for you, you really start getting connected to everybody. So I just got a really good team right out the gate that went to bat for me, uh, and so yeah. But it was mainly it met most people just through streaming. They'd listen and then message. We'd hang out.
Did you find then that moving to Nashville was like the big difference in like the shift in your career, or was it just like kind of happenstance of putting out music as Halfway?
If I put out Halfway and stayed in Tulsa, uh, I think it would have been fine. Would have been okay. It never would have been able to be a job. Um, and maybe I'm speaking down, but in my mind, understanding the move to Nashville was the absolute game changer.
Yeah, what made it like? Was there something that immediately struck you when you moved over there?
Yeah, is the ease of getting to get coffee with people. I feel like my entire career is based off getting coffee with people. And so you'd have a manager follow you and just DM and say, let's get a coffee. And they were all there. So it made the point of contact so easy and simple. Um, yeah, and I don't, that just wouldn't, it would have been way harder from Tulsa. I
Were you born and raised in Tulsa?
was born in Wichita. I moved to Tulsa when I was 5. So largely, I left when I was 16 and came back when I was 21. So I say absolutely born and raised in Tulsa.
Yeah. Uh, what was your musical background growing up there?
Classical piano. I was one of those guys. It was like the competitive classical world. So it was on the Juilliard route up until I was 18.
What made you change your mind?
Burnout, classic burnout. Just I didn't like the competitive nature of it, and just felt like I wanted to explore more outside of just classical music. So I left the classical scene when I was, I guess, 17 and got into the jazz space. And then through that, somehow ended up, I think in my senior year of high school, I graduated in Indianapolis. In senior year of high school, there's a production class at school, and I took that and got really excited about it. Um, And so yeah, it just kind of I just got pulled out of it, gratefully so. I was not happy in it.
Is that something that you kind of find yourself that you have to be wary of, just like burnout?
Yes, I am prone to burnout, man. Everyone else will know I burn out before I do. I'm I'm known to be pretty numb to the way I feel until I'm feeling it a bit too much too late.
Well, how are you handling like this part of your career? Because it seems like you're on such a fast track and trajectory, like putting out all this music, working with all these people, and touring.
Yeah, I thank you. I I guess I don't know yet. It's all still we're still in it. I've had, my team is a big support system. Of course, my wife being the biggest support system. And now that I have burnt out a few times, everyone kind of has they can see the signals and they can tell me to slow down and take a break and disappear for a week. And so it's just become a very loud part of my life is talk about mental health and how there's no escaping it. And the very thing that helps me be who I am is the thing that tries to kill me at the same time. So I just talk about it a bunch. My team's very dialed in on it, and I get pushed to take a lot of breaks.
Do you find like your classical piano like background playing into a lot of uh, what you do now?
Honestly, more and more. It's like happening more always. The theory, of course, is so helpful. Really helpful primarily when communicating to artists when I'm producing for them or writing with them. Like helping on the theory front, very helpful. I think probably the place it comes in the most is not just defaulting to like standard chord progressions, that kind of thing. Understanding how different keys blend well together, and you could ride the line between, you know, theory nerd Jacob Collier type shit, or and still get a listenable experience.
What do you think is the key difference between like the music that you were putting out under your name and the stuff you've been putting out as Halfway?
Well, I hope the key difference is that the old stuff was bad. Uh, I hope that's the key difference. Is that I hope the stuff is good. Uh, I think that on like a real note, the halfway stuff. I actually have something to talk about. It's that project. Like I said, is really centered around mental health. And before, I didn't know what I was talking about. I was just saying words and trying to find words that rhyme, and there wasn't much weight. I was trying to make weight happen. Trying to turn light situations into heavy situations so I could write a heavy song. But now, for better or worse, it's been a really heavy uh, life. So that's the main difference. Is I'm actually writing about something.
Yeah, what are some of those experiences that have made it onto like this last album?
Yeah, I mean, this last album was largely about I was in the got admitted to the psych ward September of 24, um, on like suicide watch. So this album was largely, if you listen top down, the record's called Wither. If you listen top down, it's supposed to give you an idea of the way my brain feels. And there's some like roller coaster moments where one song is really heavy and the next song is suddenly really light, and that's all on purpose. Um, it's supposed to make you feel unstable when you listen to the record. Uh, so yeah, that Wither is specifically about my mental health over the past year.
Why did you decide to name the entire project after that last song?
I decided to name that. So it's the only song I co-wrote on the album with a hero of mine named Benjamin Francis Leftwich. Um, and we had that right. That was the last song I wrote for the record. He came into town. I didn't know we were going to write for me. He didn't know we were going to write for me. We started writing a song, and he's just one of the most beautiful people I've ever met. Just absolutely stunning human, brilliant, remarkably healthy. Has had just the gnarliest life and came out the other side of it. And that song just kind of really affected the way I approach songwriting as a whole. Like we wrote the song in 30 minutes, and it changed kind of everything for me. It's like a very impactful couple hours with Ben. And so yeah, it just felt appropriate. And also given the whole piece of mental health, everything felt like I was withering away. So it just made sense as the whole project.
Was there a lot of stuff that didn't make it on?
Oh yeah, always. always. It's usually because I think that record is 10, 11 songs, something like that. It's usually they come in with like 40-ish or so and whittle them down. So yeah, there's always a boatload of songs that never make it.
How do you decide what makes the cut?
Straws, I guess. I mean, for that record, a lot of it was like telling a story, right? So making sure the songs that were on the record made sense in sequence, telling a story. That one was a little easier to pick and choose what songs make it. Uh, you can just tell whenever you mean what you're singing. So a lot of the songs I would track and be like, I don't think I really mean what I'm saying on this, so we probably don't need to be doing it.
Yeah, you're drawing a lot mostly from like personal experiences then.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
I think I remember reading like if uh better if worse was about a friend of yours, right? Where he was kind of in a situation where it would have been better if things were worse because it would have
Yeah.
caused him to move.
Yeah. Yeah. Is that was the catalyst to that tune. Yeah, was seeing my buddy and realizing like, wow, you'd be way better off if stuff was a lot worse in your life. And then that spiraled and spiraled, and then started seeing it in patterns with friends and family, and then started really seeing it in patterns in myself. Where it's like, you know, I would have been a lot better off if I just admitted that I wasn't doing well before I ended up at the psych ward. Um, so it's yeah, that was the catalyst. Was my buddy? I'm like, you're being an idiot right there.
Yeah. Is it easy to draw on like painful experiences and put them into songs like this?
Yeah, for me it is. Yeah, um, it's harder for me to write happy songs, which is a weakness for sure. But for me, the easier songs are when something hurts a lot. It's I can find language easier.
Is it easy to write about that experience like when it was so recent, I guess?
I should say it's easier to write about it. It's scary to release it. The putting the songs out on something that feels like there's one song on the record called Deep In that was specifically about I wrote the first half before I went into the psych ward and I finished it when I got out. And then the song came out a couple months later, and that was tough. That was not like I don't know if I want to do that again. I felt really weird for a while after that one. But writing it down, penning it is always helpful. Putting it out is the hard part.
Did you try and do any writing while you were there?
No, I did not. I was a shell of a human, and they take your phone and they take your shoes and they take everything. So no, I was just eating Jello, staring it in the corner. That was the vibe.
How would you say Wither compares to the previous like songs and EPs that you'd put out?
I just feels like the realist, in my opinion. The first EP, I honestly think the first EP and Wither are more connected than Lady Lou. Uh, Lady Lou is definitely the lightest EP I put out, uh, and it was mainly about collaboration, right? Like I made Lady Lou so I can do Lady Lou and all of her friends have all my features on it, my buddies singing. So that one feels a little on an island, if I'm honest. Uh, but Prequel and Wither are rather tied because they're both grounded in very very specific experiences.
Are there any other songs that you would like to dig into on Wither?
I mean, a little fun thing is there's a tune called Alpenglow on there, and I wrote that song like 6 years ago. Uh, that was a song I wrote right whenever I got engaged. Um, and the original production of it was like this kind of weird electronic Fred again type thing, uh, which is wacky, and I don't know what I was doing. It was way before Haffway was a thing, uh, but the song stuck. So then it was one of those like missing pieces on the record uh, that ended up being one of my favorites, I think. So uh, yeah, it's funny. Songs don't die, their shelf life is forever.
Yeah.
And So just holding on to songs and wait until the right time. Like I've always loved the story of Lumineers, Ophelia, that song they had. They wrote that for their first record, and by the time it came out, they said it was a 12-year-old song for them, and it was a huge hit for them. So songs don't die, you know.
Yeah, was it easy to kind of readapt it to the sound that you had as Halfway?
No, no, it was not. I like damn near gave up on it many times. It was not easy to. I was like, how the hell am I gonna hear this like weird electronic Bon Iver meets Fred again type tune, and turn it into a world that fits me? So I redid it like 3 or 4 times until it finally found like, all right, I got it. I was very inspired by Adrian Linker and the simplicity of how she approached her record. Uh, yeah, but it was not easy, no.
Are you not attracted to like that sound anymore that you used to have? Like, I know you've been kind of ragging on it, but I mean, I went back and listened to like the songs that you put out, and I was like, yeah, this is fun. It's different, but it's still good.
Oh, thank you, man. I don't know. I mean, I grew up on like listening to a lot of blues stuff, Ray Charles, and heavy on Bill Withers, and so that's definitely still like a lot of inspiration for stuff I write for others. But for me as an artist, I feel pretty detached from that vibe, but I still utilize it a bunch for others.
Yeah. Who would you say are some influences on your Halfway project?
I mean, like the big awakening for me was Paolo Nutini. I'm a huge Paolo Nutini fan. His Through the Echoes record, um, or Last Night of the Bittersweet. Sorry, uh, that record like woke me up a bunch. So it was a combo of him, like you said, Adrian. Um, I mean, I think Bon Iver is the greatest artist of all time. Of course, can't get away from him. Uh, I've always been obsessed with Ray LaMontagne. He was the first guy that made me ever want to write songs. Uh, I mean, Gregory Allen Isaacoff is a big piece for me. Um, and then over the past couple of years, it's been mainly inspired by people I work with, like seeing artists find their own sound and develop themselves. Like I mainly listen to the buddies I work with.
The people that you work with, like, yeah, they have like much different sounds. I feel like than the stuff that you're putting out. Like, I talked to Kyle of Keyland last year, and he's got much more sort of a Americana like kind of feel.
Absolutely, yeah. It's definitely like I mean, this the way the songs end up is neither here or there. It's like studying them as they do their thing, is so fun. So like the Kyles and the worked a lot this last year with Dermot and Noah and watching them become who they are. It's just inspiring. Like CC Coakley is very inspiring to me, and Medium Bill it's very inspiring to me. And it's all different music. It's all over the place, but there's just something really cool about seeing somebody very clearly decide who they are.
Do you feel like you're in that position? Like you've decided like this is what Halfway is?
Yeah, I think largely, of course, development happens forever, but I found my lane for sure.
How do you know when a song is done?
Uh, when you hit the deadline, that's it. It's time for it to come out. It means song's done.
Yeah, were you working on Wither like right up until like deadline?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. And it just comes a point where it's like, all right, it has to come out now. Yeah, there's songs don't finish. They just got to come out.
You said you hadn't played in Nashville for like a year and a half since getting there.
Yeah.
Uh, I read in Rolling Stone that you kind of swore off like even going to the Ryman until like you played it.
Yeah. Yeah, that was fun. It was a goal moving to Nashville. I was like, I'm not going to Ryman until I play it, and I have to do it before I'm 30. And we got to do it twice. It's like felt very fortunate.
Why did you kind of make that promise to yourself?
'Cause I really wanted to go. I like to have external drivers. I have a lot of internal drive, but I love to find an external drive. Because sometimes I'm like, I don't care how successful I am, but I'm like, but I really want to go to the Ryman. So I gotta be successful enough to play the Ryman just so I can go. But now I can go, so I'm good. I'll probably stop making music entirely.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what was the last show you've gone to the Ryman now?
uh, I guess the last time I played. Uh, Ironically, I actually haven't been to a show at the Ryman that wasn't playing yet, so I still need to do that. Still need to do that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Is there an artist that you would like love to see like as your first time going to the Ryman?
Oh man, yeah. I mean, anyone at the Ryman is their best version, I would love to see Gregory at the Ryman. I'd love to see Jason Isbell at the Ryman. Um, yeah, I mean, I would pay a lot of money if Ray LaMontagne came through. Uh, I got to see because I opened for Dermot at Ryman. Watching him play that with just piano and strings was to die for. I mean, that was unbelievable. He did such a good job. So, but yeah, I mean, I would love to see everybody at the Ryman probably.
Yeah, what is it about playing that stage that means so much to you?
Dude, there's I feel like every artist you talk to that has played or wants to play, it's this lore of like, wow, the place is magical and blah blah blah. And so going to it the first time, I was like, I got to keep my expectations low because it's probably hype. And there's something really like there's really wild energy on that stage. It just feels holy. It's like the only language I can find for it. It just feels really important. It feels so real. There's no ego there. It's a very egoless venue. Um, Ego just doesn't work. It's really like everyone's sitting down, so you can't like rely on hype from the crowd. Like it's just a performance room, and it sounds perfect too. Just sounds perfect there.
Yeah, I was gonna ask what you mean by like an egoless like venue.
I don't know. There's rooms you go to that kind of feed the ego a bit. They they there's an energy in it. I don't know what it is. It's not because Ryan's beautiful and not you go to a I'm scared to say venues. You just go to certain venues and there's just something in there that's like this place will respond really well to a big ego. Um, and Ryman doesn't. It feels like might as well have the speakers off.
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's like a listening audience, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. It's they're focusing on the song. They're really listening to your lyrics. And so if your music is based off of your performance, of course it'll work there. But I just feel like the stuff that crushes there is like lyric forward, songwriter, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What were some of your favorite places to play while you were in Tulsa?
I mean, I love Mercury Lounge. Love Mercury Lounge. Uh, and Vanguard, I guess. Those are the only two. We always made shows out of like coffee shops or backyards or garages or whatever. But yeah, Mercury Lounge and Vanguard are the Vanguard sounds so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um. Yeah. Were you cutting your teeth at a lot of like house shows?
Yeah, a bit. Yeah, a lot of house shows, a lot of coffee shop. Like we rented Fairfield was this coffee shop that used to be here, and we'd rent it out and throw a big concert party thing. Uh, yeah, but it was a lot of campfires, backyards, that kind of thing.
Do you tend to write in like the same place and like at home or in the studio?
Primarily right when I'm driving. That's the primary zone is just in the car uh and then at the studio a lot. Uh but I mean like last year I was gone for 9 months last year. So learning to write in the car was a pretty big deal. Um because yeah, it's always not home.
Are you staying at like a family's like house right now?
Yeah, at my folks' house. They still live here.
How does it feel coming back to Tulsa? When was the last time you were here?
Last time I was here Thanksgiving, I guess. Uh, I love coming back, man. I love coming back. I love Tulsa so much. If I could do this here, I'd sign up in a heartbeat. I love this place. It always feels good to come back.
What are some of your favorite spots?
I just left Double Shot. I like Double Shot. I like Chimera. For food, um, oh, drawing a blank on the name right now. It's on 15th and Harvard. Big Owls. Big Owls, dude. I like Big Owls. I like Trenchers. I like Lone Wolf and that kind of thing.
Mm.
And then my favorite bars are like Vintage and Valkyrie and like the bougie bitch stuff. I love that.
When you're writing like on the road, are you doing this like without like any instrument?
Yes.
Okay. So you're just going back and like figuring out like melodies and chord progressions afterwards?
Well, it's a lot of I like imagine a chord progression in my head and write to that, and then just do a voice memo of it. Uh, and then usually the chord progression is kind of baked in. You kind of hear the general idea of it via the voice memo.
I find it so interesting that you're able to, I guess, dig deep on like kind of building these songs when they are, like you said, like pretty emotional and like sensitive and like dark while you're on the road.
Yeah, road's dark, dude. The road is dark. Uh, so it kind of feeds it. If anything, you get so depleted so quick. So, uh, and like last year, I toured for 4 months, but then I was like traveling for 4 or 5 months making records for other folks. So it's a bit combo. But yeah, you can't hide from yourself when you're traveling. It's just everywhere you go, there you are.
Yeah, that is one of my favorite quotes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's very real.
Are you not traveling with like a manager or a band?
On October tour, I traveled with my wife and Jesse Purdue, the guy who plays with me live. But before that, all the tours were just solo, so I was just out there by myself. And then when I'm making records, it's of course whatever the whole team is, traveling with all of them.
Yeah, so is most of like Withered like written in an econovan or something?
Yeah, a lot of it's written in Airbnbs and driving back and forth from studio in middle of nowhere, Ireland or wherever I was. And yeah, it's just weird places.
Yeah, what was your favorite spot to kind of conceive a song in?
Last year, honestly, it's not a specific geographic location, but whenever I drive and get to where I'm going and then just stop my car in the parking lot or in the driveway or whatever, and then write a song there, that's the best. Like before you have to go in somewhere to talk to somebody or do something, like just give yourself a few minutes and write something. Like that was where a lot of it was coming out.
One of my favorite songs is the song that had Brent Cobb on it, but it sounded like you didn't like co-write with him on it.
I did not.
Why did you decide to bring him in?
I just think he's brilliant. I think his voice is perfect for that song. He was the guy that brought me on my first quote unquote tour. We just did two shows. We played Shreveport and Tulsa actually. I just fell in love with him, uh, and at the end of those shows, I was like, I had that song done. And I'm like, dude, it'd be great if you wanted to. And he was down. So just kind of very spur of the moment. Heard his voice, have been listening to it for a long time, then heard it live. I'm like, good God, this song is like it'll sound better if he's singing it. And, so yeah, that's how that happened.
Yeah, can I just ask what inspired that song?
That's like the back to the emotional roller coaster of mental health. That was a day I was sitting on my parents' back porch when I came back to Tulsa for something or other. It was cold outside. I was sitting with my dog. They lived on this park. And it was like a moment of feeling really happy, like feeling really clear and realizing the reason I was happy and clear is because I just felt simple for a second. Uh, and realized that all of these efforts of chasing and pursuing and building, trying to find happiness at the end of it was more running away from it than anything. Um, so that was the tune. I can like see the moments like 55 outside. I had a shitty cup of coffee, my dog. It was awesome.
Yeah, is that how you kind of structured the entire album? Is to kind of go ups and downs?
That's it. If you listen, it should make you feel a little panicky because your emotions are going to get thrown around.
I guess have you found a key of to emotional regulation?
No. Nope.
I
I mean,
guess maybe I'm just asking for myself.
no, dude. I mean, it's real. I think there's always tricks, and I think that the frustrating part is that the boring, cliche stuff is the stuff that works. Make sure you see the sunlight, go on walks, work out, don't drink too much, drink a lot of water, eat healthy, sleep well. Like that's it. I don't think there's much juice to it. I was on antidepressants, a couple ones for like a year and a half, and that helped me get up to like ground level. And then I got off of them to like get, more elevated. And yeah, dude, there's just rhythm. I think rhythm is probably the only thing that helps regulate. Once I get out of rhythm, I get really wacky.
What are some of the songs that represent the lowest lows, I guess?
Deep End is the lowest of lows. Um, And then right after that be a song called Riverbank, which is like a smaller song, like streaming wise. But those are the two like lowest to lows on the record for sure.
When did you write those?
Uh wrote Riverbank a week before I went to the psych ward, and then I wrote Deep End the week after. So that's why.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Which was so September 24.
When you play those songs, do you find yourself going back into like the space that you were before and after?
Depends how like tuned in I am with my emotions. So like random shows will get me crying on a couple of those songs, and then random shows I'm numb. Um, but like Ryman, I couldn't. Sold the Boat is another song on the record that's really heavy. I couldn't. I was a mess trying to sing that song at the Ryman for some reason. So every now and then I kind of dip my toe back in the emotional water bucket. But yeah, it's not necessarily my choice. It just kind of happens.
Yeah, when you were writing them, did you think that they were going to be songs that you would end up recording and not just sort of working out your emotions?
Hell no. Yeah, it's just for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, but here we are.
Well, did you find that that was sort of key to why maybe they're doing so well, or like why people connect to them is because they're so bare?
Yeah, it's real. There's just no bullshittery going on in those tunes, um and it's a lot. It's like I'm not the only one. Most of us are. I'd say the vast majority of folks have felt this way at some point, right? So having a song that is just kind of saying that as is, I think is helpful. So I think that's ended up why I put him out. It's like this is could be maybe if it helps one folk that's in a similar situation. Just selfish to keep it to myself.
That was Halfway. You can find more information about him and his tour dates at kosu.org. You can find and follow songwriters and tour writers on social media and YouTube at Songwriters Tour Writers. Songwriters and Tour Writers is a production of KOSU and Oklahoma State University. Our editor is Ryan McCroy, and our cover art was created by Terry Ferris. Thanks for listening. I'm Matthew Viriapa.